Hello, everybody. Paul Piper here in the studio. Welcome, PRP Productions. We are doing another exciting podcast today, and for those of y'all that don't know, we've had some technology things going on, but we're back up and running, and today's podcast is really cool because we're going to talk about a new collaboration project that I'm doing with James and Mindy McIntyre, and they're in the studio with me today, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, but we're also going to talk about how they got started and where they came from as far as Albuquerque, right? Albuquerque, New Mexico?
Yeah.
So how'd y'all get your start? What did y'all do?
Well, I was born at a very early age, and that's kind of how I got my start. I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Years now. Been playing music together since shortly after we got married, right? Mm-hmm. She started on drums, but then switched over to bass because,
life.
We had we knew a lot of drummers, but we didn't know any bassists, so, made the switch. But yeah, that's been good. We've played in bands, cover bands and also original music the whole time. Bassist and singer, and then I play guitar and sing. It's we've played with a few different drummers. We moved out to Dallas in 2020, right before everything shut down, like 2 weeks. 2 weeks before everything shut down.
The pandemic.
Whatever. Was it? Everyone kind of went. Well, so we came out here not knowing, obviously, like nobody really, what was going to happen 2 weeks before everything shut down. So we came out thinking we were going to hit the ground running, and we hit the ground all right. But there was not much running involved for a little while. But through a series of various events, finally met Paul here and hooked up to play in the band. Tritone is the name of the group. And so we're doing cover tunes, but we're also writing original material that's in production now, in the writing process and pre-production, I should say, really. So,
yeah.
But the bigger project that's well closer to fruition is the Moving Time project.
Yes.
Which is really your thing, right? I mean, it started out as your brainchild. Right?
And I had, I think some of these songs I wrote, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and I've never had them in. I've basically had them in the vault for a while, and then it's like, you know what? I've got to get these out there. People are asking about it, and I'm going to do it. And then y'all came along, and it was like, man, it was like a blessing. And in more ways than one.
Well, that's how we feel
great.
too. It's been a great collaboration, and creatively and just personality wise, musically, everything has really gelled really well. And it's interesting to me that you have a seemingly random collection of songs, and then yet they're as they've developed, they have a common thread through them. So that's the whole. What's the premise of the Moving Time project? If you would like sum it up.
Well, the premise between Moving Time is basically, I kind of get my ideas from people I've seen as I grew up in life, concerts that I've seen. But the premise of this project is basically time continuum. The parallels of life and how people get through things, and the music is phenomenal. What am I trying to say here? The stuff that I came up with, I have weird ideas. That's a cool chord.
You?
Never.
Yeah. That's a cool chord. Let me put this chord here. Let me put this chord here, and let me see what it all comes together. And, I don't necessarily write it out on paper. I just sometimes 3 or 4 in the morning I'll be asleep, and Michelle's like, "Where are you going?" I got to go in the studio and record this before I forget it.
Right.
And that's what I do, and that's how I piece the music together. And again, the project Moving Time is a total collaboration project. Yes, I think I'm singing on one of the songs I wrote.
Indeed.
We'll see how that happens.
I already know how.
I
already know how it sounds because we did
that's great.
We did the recording.
But James McIntyre is an awesome singer, so is Mindy. But James is also doing a lot of the vocals on some of the songs, and he gets the point. Okay. Sorry. Hold on. Okay. Ouch. That hurt. Well, anyway, I had something to say, but I'm not going to say it anymore.
That's okay. I'm done talking. Actually, no. It's interesting because Paul had you came to me with these tunes, and they're still being sort of written. Some of them fleshed out now, and But the first one is actually the title track of the whole project, Moving Time, and it was like, hey, we need lyrics for this, and I was like, okay, sure, I can write lyrics. What's it about? and then that's when it's sort of like, well, it's about, I want this sort of almost sci-fi, not quite sci-fi, but almost sci-fi type story about how the time continuum and everything is, and then sort of became like interconnecting threads of our time, of our lives as we move through the time continuum. And so the songs all sort of relate to, it doesn't tell necessarily one contiguous story through all the songs, but they're all sort of related and intertwined. And there is sort of a storyline that's underlying the whole thing, but not every song is necessarily to that storyline per se. So we have Moving Time as the title track. The sort of the next song that we worked on was called The Journey Home, and that's the one that Paul's singing on and sounds wonderful on.
Lord help me.
Lord help us all.
Sounds
and
fabulous.
it does. And then we have a New World Awaits.
New World Awaits, yeah.
is the third song. So those three are pretty well in the can right now, production wise. Almost. The New World Awaits, I'm still doing some editing on. But then there's 8 or 9 other songs that are still in production.
There's 8 or 9 songs that we're doing, and also we're doing little filler song gaps, like maybe 60 seconds long. The whole premise of this record is to tell a story.
Yeah.
And if you ever listen to Alan Parsons Project, it's kind of the same kind of thing we're working with here.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't take full credit of Alan Parsons' work. He is the sole proprietor of his talent. So there we go. There's my disclaimer, y'all.
You can mention somebody. You don't have to. we just can't play that on the podcast, right? but we can mention his name. But yeah, it's so the songs can be listened to individually, but they're also kind of as a whole. You could, if you got the time, you could start from the beginning and listen through. That's the intent.
That's the old school way of
Old school
listening
way.
to an album.
And plus, if we make a mistake, we can just go back in time and fix it.
Well,
Sorry.
these days with digital editing, it's not done until it's out there. So there's a lot of technicals. I don't know, how technical is your audience? How do we get into recording technique at all, or our process?
What are you saying? I'm sorry.
Should we get into our process of production at all?
Maybe minor. Yeah, we could do that. First of all, we are working out of our own studios.
Right.
So that really is a good plus, because back in the day, if I remember, when I had to do drum tracks, I had to find somebody that had a studio. I had to carry all my stuff over, plus my little thumb drive or whatever I'm using to track with, a click track. And it's just a long process, and then you have to pay the studio rate and everything. But we've been so blessed to have our situation where I do a lot of recording and drumming and tracking in this studio as well as you do in your studio.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that we can trade files back and forth, project files. Okay, hey, well, let's do something with this one. What do you think we should add to this? I'll send it to you. You do it. You send it to me. I send it to you. Right. And there's a lot of times where I'll go to y'all studio and we'll do stuff there.
Yeah, so a lot of modern production is done like that, where the recording is built in like multiple cities, and sometimes the collaborators never actually even meet face to face. It's all done by remote, not live remote, but they send the project files, send them back and forth. And so we're doing a nice blend. So we're actually in the same room a lot of the time, but not all of the time, and we don't have to be. So I'll do guitars and...
So I was going to make a comment.
That's okay. I have y'all on solo screen. Like right now, I could do this, and no one will know what I'm doing. So.
Great.
We know what you're doing. Okay. So wow. I completely lost the thread now. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Y'all are, never mind.
It's insert laugh track here.
Do we have a laugh track?
Of course.
This is a high budget production. I thought for sure we'd have a live studio audience, but I don't know where you'd put them in.
Well, I could put all one of them here.
All one of them.
Yeah.
But
hold on a second. A live studio audience, are you good over there?
Yes, I am.
All right. Okay. when you have-
Oh yeah, so Paul, you do the drums here in
Yeah.
your studio, and you've got a nice setup, and we're getting a great drum sound.
Yeah.
I'll do guitars and basses and things, and also Paul does the keyboard. Paul's a great keyboard player, and so
Well, I try to be, but thank you.
yeah.
Only for writing, though. I don't think I could ever do a gig, though. I got to go back and learn all my changes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's all good.
But yeah, the parts are there, and so vocals are done in at my place. Most of them, not all of them, but yeah, it's gonna sound really good. We're getting a good, nice. So genre wise, it's sort of. I was thinking about this the other day, and it's kind of what would you call it? It's kind of like a retro pop, but not real
Yeah.
retro. I call it prog pop.
Prog pop.
Yeah, it's
That's a good term.
there's interesting changes. There's it's not the same four chords.
Well, that's
through the
like
whole song, and
that's
you
like
know,
the variety of popcorn, like prog popcorn.
Prog
comes up with
pop.
different flavors.
that's frog pop, and it's
Yeah.
it's really hopping.
Okay.
So it's good stuff. There's some bite to it.
Yeah.
You know, there's some bite to it in places, but there's some beautiful pieces, and yeah, it's a good
Cool.
project. When are we hoping to have this out by? We're really hoping to have it out
we're
by
looking to get the title cut.
by 2035.
2035,
kidding.
yeah, give or take. Is that when we're all walking with canes?
I'm already starting that.
Yeah.
Hope not. I
Yeah.
hope not.
No, so Moving Time, the title cut Moving Time is we're going to try and release it early summer.
It's
maybe
it's
end
pretty
of-
much ready.
Yeah, it's pretty much ready. And we're going to be on KNON Now with Jackie Don Lowe on
Tuesday the 18th.
June the 18th.
18th.
So we'll plug that one as we go here, which is just in a few more days.
Yeah.
Yes.
it's
So,
like next-
but we're going to talk a lot about the album there and what we're going to be doing with it. But we're going to try. We got to get it on the all the platforms, and
Right.
and hopefully you good people will be watching this. And by the way, like and subscribe this podcast and share it share it.
Sure.
Because
Share,
this
like, and subscribe.
Right, this song release is going to be powerful. And I guess if you want to. Talk about the genre. I would say it's kind of a cross between what Journey, Alan Parsons Project kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's punchy and it's good, but it's accessible.
It's
not
not
rock,
blues.
It's not blues. It's not
No, it's not.
rock and roll, but it's parts of it kind of lean that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely has some bite to it. But yeah, it's the thing is that back in the old days, word of mouth is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yes.
But it still is. It's just that it's all online. But it's still basically word of mouth. That's what
Yeah.
networking and social media
Social media
is. It's
is.
just digital word of mouth. So, hey, there's a song title right there.
Oh,
No,
Digital word of mouth.
wow, it sounds like Styx, Mr. Roboto or something. You know? But yeah, it'll be good. So we've got some other projects in the works too. Like
Tell them about maybe the band. Tritone the band.
So Tritone the band.
Tritone the band. Again,
Tritone the album. Tritone the
that's-
lunchbox.
That's
Tritone the flamethrower. The kids love that one.
Tritone the action figure.
Oh no.
That would
Little
be
Spaceballs reference there.
That's where we model. That's where Junie comes in and does the little.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
right,
yes,
with the
he
grandson.
does.
So Tritone is our three-piece group
three of
that
us.
we do. Paul on drums and background vocals, Mindy on the bass and backgrounds and some lead vocals. I play the guitar and do the singing. We it's started out as a cover band.
Yeah.
But I've got a bunch of original material that I've been writing, similar to you. Some of these songs are old. Some of them I wrote, last week.
I was
or
going to
whatever.
say, I thought it was a couple days ago.
But we're wanting to get original material, and that is more of a rock sound. It's a three-piece rock band, not heavy metal, but definitely punchy rock, rock and roll.
Three-part harmonies.
Yeah, three-part harmonies.
Who's
stuff
the third
going-
harmony guy?
You. You're the.
You are silly.
No,
You've been promoted.
yeah, I've been promoted.
So, but yeah, it's original material. It just whatever pops into my head. It's kind of similar to you because inspiration strikes when you least expect it. in the bathroom.
He has
in the
scribbles.
shower.
He has
Yeah,
scribbles of paper. You know,
And the
around,
way you
so.
do it, you do it in pencil first.
I think on paper better than I
Yeah.
do on the computer, right?
Yeah.
So
Old fashioned.
old fashioned.
to where with me, it's coming in here and like that fits
Trying
with that.
stuff,
Like
right,
right
yeah.
now, we're working on a new song that I just finished writing, and I think you were helping me with what chord progression should we put here, or
Yeah,
Right.
we're tweaking
Yeah.
it. But yeah,
But- we hope to get it on the record.
Right.
Which, by the way, y'all were going to be Yahweh.
Yahweh.
We're going to be. I'm going to try and get this pressed on actual LP if we can, mostly,
Oh.
and also I'm going to do some CDs and thumb drives. So because everything caters to different people.
Yes.
Um,
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
but-
we want to
yeah.
be able to physically hand somebody something too,
Yeah.
not just stream and downloads.
But what I like about the LP, the big album, is you can do like storylines inside, and you can
Right.
write stuff about what's going on with, like, where was Paul Piper at the age of 5, getting his hearing fixed, I think. Anyway, what?
Huh?
Anyway,
Huh? Little Paul Piper.
yeah.
Paul Piper.
I kid you not. My dad wanted to. My mom wanted to slap my dad because my dad said, "What do we name him? Peter." And my mother almost slapped him.
Just
She
about
was like,
slapping.
no.
Well, and then, was
So
Peter
they named you
Paul,
Paul.
was
Did
Peter
they-
Paul and Mary out in the 60s?
Yeah.
Yes.
So she went, let's lame him. Let's lame him. Lame him?
Let's lame him. She was wanting to
See,
break
that's
the legs.
funny. See, that fits me. I'm lame. No, I'm just kidding.
Ha! Not really.
Where's my
No.
leg? Where's my other leg? No.
Oh, you're just silly.
So I don't know where the word Paul came from, but I don't know if she named me or he named me, or anyway, it came a good line of the Peter Pep, whatever.
Peter Piper picked
I
him.
do. Anyway,
Anyway.
so I'm sure we all had nicknames back in the day, and
Yeah.
mine was not too pleasant. But anyway,
No, nickname is not supposed to be pleasant.
no.
Mine was.
Yours was?
Of course.
Do tell.
I don't remember though.
How do you know it was pleasant then? See, this is what happens. You think you know somebody. You've been married for almost 35 years, and then suddenly there's new information forthcoming, and you're like, "Wait, what?" But
No, actually, I was Mindy Lou Who
Mindy Lou.
after Cindy Lou Who,
Right.
right? And that's a nice one, and that was fine. Nothing wrong with it.
Who?
I'm not calling you Mindy Lou. Can we talk about music before my nickname comes up? So those are the two main projects for us right now: is the Moving Time project and then the Tritone project. I don't know.
The Guitar Hero?
The Guitar Hero
Yeah.
is the third one, and that's a instrumental rock fusion heavy thing, not metal, but
Yeah, and I heard some of that stuff. I'm almost like, how am I going to put drums on this stuff?
well, by hitting it.
It'll be
Push and
but
record and hit.
I love a good challenge.
Yeah, well, it's definitely different. So that's a different project. That's stuff that I've been working on for
Years.
probably years now, and it's instrumental. It's whatever nonsense and craziness I can think up. And Guitar Hero, spelled Gyro, like the sandwich, but sort of a play on the Guitar Hero video game, which I guess is becoming less and less relevant as we move through time. So that's a collection of 10 or 11 craziness tunes,
Yeah.
the odd meter and a lot of key
Yeah,
change and
yeah.
modulation stuff, and kind of a rock guitar sound for the most part. Which I have yet to have real drums on. So my process for that, as well as with the Tritone stuff, is make a demo, program the drums, just so I got something sort of the song kind of worked out, and then Paul can come in and record
Put
real
my little
drums.
boomskas on there.
Yeah, boomskas.
Actually, the Debbie Boone kit too.
Yeah,
Boone, Pat Boone, Pat Boone Boone, Debbie Boone.
yeah, that one.
Okay. Hold on, that's enough of that.
The Debbie Boone Pat kit. So so when I program drums, I'm doing my darndest. I do play a bit of drums. I'm nothing like Paul, but I do my darndest to actually make a realistic sounding drum part. It's not quite to my standards to release that way. I don't want to release music that's got programmed drums. I prefer real music made by real people. That is always my preference. That's not
Created
just
and written.
created and written by real people. No AI going on
Right.
here. And in
You want
the
to
end
see?
of
You
it-
want to see my AI impersonation?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Hi, I'm Paul Teichter. I'm not AI, but you can be.
Man, you fit right into a kung fu movie. Perfect.
Anyway, go ahead.
I'm hiring you to play a part as the bad guy in a kung
In our
fu
Kung
movie.
Fu movie,
Yeah.
which is
So-
another.
That's my little ventriloquist act.
Yeah, right. Yeah, perfect. So it's a long process, but it's worth it because you wind up with something I think that's real and connects with people a little bit more. And you know, there's some good music out there, current music out there, but so much of it is the same four chords just cycling through, and then sequence parts and auto-tuned vocals, and I just feel like people are hungry to get back to what music is all about is an art form that, and a way of communicating, which is kind of what an art form, most art forms are.
Yep.
That's done by real people, so there's an actual connection. I mean, I don't want to art created by a computer, or just sort of slapped together with no real thought to it, or the only thought is how much money are we going to make from this? I mean, no one would paint maybe they would, I guess, but I would say probably no one would paint a picture with the thought of, I'm going to paint a picture so that I can make $50,000 selling it. They're going to paint a picture because they want to create this thing,
Right.
And
We hope.
and that's sort of where I'm at with the music stuff, and
Cool. Well, that's like when I go to a Van Gogh art exhibit. There's never any art on the walls. This is where's all the paintings? Well, Van had to go.
they loaded up in a van and they went.
Van went. The van went.
Van go here to Van go there.
Yeah. Okay, enough of that.
This
So
is,
how much
again,
did that?
This is my life.
How
This
much?
is my life.
How much Monet did that Monet sell for?
I know, right? Monet.
Da-da-da.
So y'all been.
Where's my rim shot? You got rim shot earlier. Oh yeah,
There we go.
great.
Y'all have been married for how long now?
Oh,
Almost
it'll be 30.
35.
It'll be 35 years in December. Yeah.
Michelle and I just celebrated our 34th,
Yay.
and we're excited. We went to a little getaway, East Texas, for a few days. Did not want to come back,
Right.
but basically it was in a cabin in the middle of 6 acres. I believe it was 6 acres.
Yay.
Anyway, and totally secluded. The trees were just surrounding, and just you walk out and you hear nature and you hear the birds and everything. And
So I'm
and-
kind of surprised, totally secluded, and you actually came back.
yeah, I know.
I mean, I would expect Michelle to come back, but then you have mysteriously disappeared.
But we went to Holly Lake, and there's a really cool. Got some videos of deer and everything.
Oh,
and,
nice.
And everything. And I noticed that when we were pulling into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, my headache came back, and I don't know what was going on.
Don't know what's going on with
so
that.
pressure. So, hey, actually, getting back to the project, Moving Time.
Yeah.
I want to let people hear a clip of the title cut.
Sure.
We'll just do a
Yeah.
quick little, and
Just a bit.
again, the story behind this project, Moving Time, is the time continuum and how people react to parallels in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we go back to try and fix what was wrong to make it right nowadays, go to the future. It's kind of a time continuum. But each song tells a story with little dividers that we have in there. I think one was called The Abyss.
The Abyss is one we're working on. Yeah, that's actually more of a full song
Yeah.
that's being developed. But then there's
Yeah.
a few other dividers.
And then The Route.
There's divider interlude type things.
The Route, which is just a piano, and I'm
Piano and vocal.
attempting my vocal on that one too. So, and I think the whole album again will be a whole story,
Right.
And that's what we want to do. And we will be writing a lot of new stuff. We'll probably save it for album number 2 if it ever happens, and that will be called Retime. Okay, that's another bad one.
Rewind.
Rewind, yes, rewind. Okay, y'all. Anyway, here is a clip of Moving Time.
Thing to show. It seems like it moves so slow. Moving time, everywhere I go. Will I ever know?
So what'd y'all think? I hope y'all liked it. It was good.
It was great.
It was
I liked
great.
it so much I bought the company.
You bought the company? What do you mean you bought the company?
It was those ads. I like the company so much I bought them. You know, those old ads.
old,
Never
I
mind.
approve this message.
Terrible.
By the way, some of the guitar work you heard was also done by a good friend of ours, David Saborio.
David Saborio did some guitar work on.
He did a
on
lot of
that
guitar
song,
work
yeah.
on this song, and you did a lot of stuff, doing some top harmonies with him on stuff.
A little bit of
Yeah.
the rhythm guitars, me. The leads are really David on
Yeah.
this particular tune.
Yeah.
So yeah. We're bringing in a lot of musicians to collaborate on this. It's not just Paul and I. So yeah, it's a bunch of local Dallas, great musicians and.
There's a lot of great musicians in Dallas.
Yeah, and that's the
Sure.
cool thing is that we're going to be bringing horn. We're going to have real horn players on some of the other songs we're doing. The song that I finished writing called "Return to Stratosphere" that will actually be on the Moving Time project.
Yes.
because if I remember, some of the lyric lines that you were doing were in the album that explain Stratosphere. And I think which song was it? Did you put that in? That was in.
Journey Home.
Journey Home.
Yeah, Journey Home
Yeah.
That's
has
a reference.
references.
and that's me saying it. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
cross references between all the tunes lyrically, and
Yeah.
so which is I guess probably my main contribution to the project is the lyrics, and more so than the most of the music, melodic content, chords, the grooves, all that. That's 99% Paul, and lyrics
Who would
is
have
me.
thought a drummer?
Yeah,
Well,
musician who
Yes,
also
I
plays
will-
the
who
drums
also
really
plays.
well.
Yes.
okay, so
yes.
y'all told your
We love
history.
you.
I'm going to tell you, love y'all too. Y'all told me your history. Let me give you a little bit of mine. Maybe the reasons why I feel
Yeah.
like I'm maybe a good asset to society, at least in the music world. Yeah. So I come from a family of nothing but musicians. My dad was a composer, piano player. I got my first gig with him and Mom at a place called the Petroleum Club. And it was, I think I was the only 15-year-old that played brushes.
Yeah,
some
that's
jazz.
unusual.
Yeah, that is.
My mother was a singer. They were both in the jingle industry, studio business, and we started. Let's see, I basically grew up in a control room, and I think by the time I was 6 or 7 or 8, I was in a control room and I saw all these little gadgets and I just wanted to touch everything. And it wasn't because I was in there doing a drum session. I was in there and my dad saying, "Don't touch anything."
Yes.
And what I do? What's this?
Yeah.
Take two, horn player.
So
Maybe seven.
so how did the keyboards get into the mix?
The keyboards that were up there, I always wanted to play them a little bit, and we'll see how they sound. But we
Yeah.
also grew up with a grand piano in the front living room
Oh, that's
downstairs.
nice, yeah.
And I was real shy. I only wanted to play it when no one was home.
Right.
And anytime someone would come home, I'd stop. It was just the way I was. But that's when I started. Wow, these are cool. What is this? And my writing at the time was not really writing. It was just kind of messing around.
Sure.
Like, what can I do here? So I did a couple little room recordings and stuff. And as I got older, I went to Eastfield College, where I took 2 years of piano and 2 years of theory at the same time. And that's where I got all the knowledge of music theory.
Right.
And I guess from there, I started getting more serious about my writing. And hey, this is how it all started. So now I'm coming up with these, I try to come up with different chord variations.
Yeah.
It shows.
Yeah. Thanks.
What I like about it is that you're not you're able to write thinking about the entirety of the song. You're writing with the producer's mindset rather than
Yeah.
just let me just write out. And I'm going to kind of pick on guitar players a little
yeah.
bit and myself. When I first started writing, probably when I was 13, 14, when I wrote my first song, maybe it was 12. I started playing when I was 10. And for probably the first decade, everything I wrote was very guitar centric. I mean, that was my tool, instrument of choice, and I didn't think, well, the drums have just as significant, if not more significant, role in the way the music sounds. Or there's no room for the bass to do anything interesting. It's just doubling the bottom end of the guitar line or whatever. It took me a while to start to open up my writing to where I was thinking a little bit more globally. Of course, now I do. I'm always thinking about what. Actually, I'm usually going off of a drum groove first rather than a guitar line. I'm thinking about what's the rhythm basically going to be. I mean, most non-musicians. This is something for songwriters to consider. As they're pursuing their craft, and that is that most musicians listen to music, and they're hearing the chord changes, and they're hearing the melodies, and they're hearing the counterpoint, and they're hearing the harmonies and all this, and they're understanding them. Most non-musicians don't listen to music at all like that. They listen to it, and it's just sort of they take it as a whole, and there's really two main things that stand out to people, and that's the rhythm of the piece and the sound of the lead instrument. And not even what the melody is per se. It's not even like, oh, that's a cool melody. It's just the sound. So having an interesting vocal, not an interesting part per se, but an interesting sounding vocal. And that's too... It's important to keep that in mind. At the same time, if that's all you're trying to appeal to, you wind up with very, very dull songs that don't go anywhere because it's all formula. Well, all we need is an interesting sounding lead part, and we need a cool rhythm, and then the chords are just sort of an afterthought. So I also think that somewhere in the back of the brain, non-musicians still hear interesting changes, interesting harmonic movement, and it affects how they hear the sound.
I think you can feel it more. I mean, it's more almost
right. It's just
emotive, or maybe a little more visceral, subconscious.
Right. Well, we like to a certain degree. We like change and movement. It's what attracts. But if you ask them what do you like about the song, they're going to say, "Oh, it's got a good beat. I like the vocals, whatever. I like the lyric. If they're."
Sure.
But you can run the risk of that's all you're looking to do is write for that instead of writing good music. So you want to have an interesting sounding melody, and you want to have a beat that's sort of kind of grabs people, but you can couch that in some really good chord progressions and changes, and that's kind of what I like about your songwriting, Paul, is that it's not the same four chords looped, right? And the verse and the chorus aren't the same part, just with more instruments on the chorus. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And so it's actually interesting music in and of itself. If you just listen to what the changes are doing, it doesn't bore me. That's for sure. I'm enjoying it a lot. So.
I appreciate it. And one thing, when I first started actually writing, I had this one thing that I'd always do on the black keys. And Michelle's like, can't you write anything different than just using those? So now I'm exploring the white keys a little bit better now. So, wait, no, that doesn't mean anything. It's strictly musical here.
It's just the piano is.
Yeah, that's like if you have
color
two.
Those things
that's like
blue and red.
If you have two PAs, it's Papa. Anyway, as he drinks. Hey, clean that up, would you? You got.
Clean up on all four.
That's actually what my grandkids call me, is Papa.
Yeah, he's Papa. I'm Emma.
Got two little grandkids.
I'm Dork. I don't know why people call me Dork, but Michelle calls me Dork. Anyway, so the songs on the project, on the Moving Time project. So y'all heard the Moving Time title cut. I think we should give them a little bit of Journey Home.
Just a bit of Journey Home.
Yeah, and guys, again, this is the second song we're doing, and just disregard the vocal on it.
No. Stop.
What did I say earlier? The first thing that jumps out at people is the rhythm and the sound of the lead.
I know.
Vocal.
Yeah, I know.
You can't just disregard the vocal.
Okay.
It doesn't work.
Here you go.
Back in the place where we came from, a new world remade. Moving through time and space, we can't see the end, but it's taken so long to get there. On our way back to the place where it all began, we can finally enjoy our journey home.
anyway, so there you have it.
See?
And,
That was good. That was all right.
Yeah. And
That
I
was all
think
right.
we did share on all the backgrounds.
Yes.
No, wait, no, that was Moving Time.
Moving Time
Yes,
is
correct.
all of us, plus some synth vocoder kind of background as well thrown in there just for some big fat synth vocals.
Yeah.
This one, Journey Home, was pretty much you and me. Oh, we might get you on there too.
I was gonna
'cause
say.
it's not 100%. That one's not 100% finished. It's not finished totally until it's actually out
Because
there.
we were going to do some background parts on the actual verses and pre-choruses too.
Right.
So if you didn't hear it on that one, we'll have it on there.
So that's probably by the end of the summer we'll have those first 3 songs out for sure. And I'm hoping by Thanksgiving the whole project is released.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know?
So
Yeah, that'd be great.
we want to get a end of year project totally released,
Yeah.
and we want to get it on all the platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, all that stuff. And,
Yeah.
But the main thing is we're going to have an actual physical copies of. I want to look at the LP situation for record, actually LPs, so we can
That's
put
really coming back. People
liner
are-
notes.
Yeah.
Wow, I love the
It really
liner
is.
notes.
Liner notes are fabulous.
Yeah.
Artwork,
Artwork,
that
yeah.
sort of thing. I remember I was a little girl. I used to just pour over all of that sort of thing, for so many of the albums, and reading the lyrics
Yeah.
just used to be such a large part of the music,
Yeah,
right? That you take, and also you're listening to it in the order that the artist
Right.
wanted.
Right.
And plus, I love the fact that on LPs you can do like the glossary of musicians, like what musicians are playing on what songs, and you have room to do it.
You have room
Yes.
to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give
Even
all
on
that
CDs,
credit.
but even on CDs, you just have to.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah, I
us,
can't-
right
yeah.
now, we can't see it as
But
well. as
Not
we
without my
used
reading
to.
glasses.
Yeah.
But yeah, back in the day, that's how you would sit down to listen to a record, and that's all you were doing was listening to the record. You weren't doing anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just focused.
You'd have the liner notes, or the big booklet or whatever. And I would do that all the time. I would just sit there, staring at the liner notes and listening to the music and ingesting it. It wasn't just washing over me. I was really taking it in, and I'm
different
hoping that
experience.
not everyone's going to do that, of course, these days, especially. But I'm hoping that we start getting back to appreciating music at a deeper level, and I think that's one of the reasons why. And I don't want this to sound like I'm on a soapbox about this, but I think it's one of the reasons why there was a lot of very creative music being made back then, because the expectation was that people were going to sit down with the LP
Yes.
and actually dig into the material. And that's not the expectation now. The expectation now is you're streaming it while you're doing something
Yeah.
else, and you're sort of like halfway listening, and it's it's kind of in the background, and there's not a whole lot of like continuity from one song to the next. Every song is meant to be a little quick hit, rather than like a supporting role for the whole concept. So concept album has kind of disappeared, and I'm hoping we can bring it back a little bit with this project.
I hope so. So that's the collaboration project we're
Yeah.
working on, and we're excited to get it released. And we're still fine tuning some things.
Yeah.
You know.
We can we give a little teaser for some of the other projects we've got, really, because there's
Yeah, of course.
there's also the Tritone project, and
Yep.
we've got some of that. So we could play a little section of a demo for one of those tunes.
Is it video or audio?
It's audio.
Audio.
Oh, yeah.
But we could make funny faces at the camera while the audio's playing,
Oh,
if you want.
you
I've
guys
got
are always good at funny
But this
faces.
is demo stuff. Because you put real drums on it. We've got real drums on the
Your song.
Just a Number is the name of the tune.
Yes.
And so
And
we
we've
could
played that one
we
out.
could play just
You
like
want me- let's tell
let's
you
play
what.
like
Let's play a
15
clip.
seconds of that.
Let's play a clip of that one.
Of Just
So-
a Number. So this is a Tritone song. This is a mellow one. This is a ballad, but a lot of the other tunes are more rock, but this one is definitely mellow. But here's a clip of this. This is our
the
group.
clip. Okay, so the clip. We did have real drums on it, and
Yep.
by the way, I enjoyed tracking that song. It was
Oh,
great. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So y'all, here's is Just a Number, written by James McIntyre. Okay, so y'all,
Yeah.
that was good.
Yeah. Cool. You know.
So what was tell the story about that song? What made what?
Oh,
Okay, without getting into any details, what?
That song, this often happens to me, is where I get a germ of an idea lyrically, and then it sits there and percolates for a while, and then overnight it pretty much like I write the whole thing. And this one was kind of like that, in that I had just a little bit of an idea with the chord progression, and then all the lyrics came in the space of about 5 minutes.
super fast.
Super fast. And it's basically, you know, without getting too deep into this, you know, you go through periods of in your life, everyone does, where it's you just sort of feeling like I'm stuck. I've gotten to a point where I've felt like I've got, you know, I'm just spinning my wheels and I'm not moving anywhere, and I've got nothing left to offer, and it's not true. That's
Never true.
That's a lie of the devil. So, you know, but sometimes it takes someone else to come along and give you the right type of push. Sometimes that's a kick in the seat of the pants. Sometimes it's a hand up. Sometimes it's just a word of encouragement. And that's what this song is about. It's like, you know.
Or sometimes it's even a not pleasant situation. At the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
not pleasant
Yeah.
situation.
Sometimes you have to sort of work through some
Yeah.
stuff, and that's kind of what
Yeah.
the song is dealing with. And you know, a lot of the songs that I write now are they're less about, you know, hey, you know, dating and girls and stuff. Certainly what I was writing when I was, you know, 15 years old. But I'm 55 now, and you know, my dating days are kind of behind me. Just saying. And so
Come on,
you know,
you date me.
I date myself sometimes, you know, by my musical taste. But at least
Wait,
I'm a cheap
musical
date.
taste as in
I like that old stuff.
the old
Hey,
stuff. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. So what is that you're doing again?
I'm showing my shirt here.
Oh, what does that say?
Old dudes rock harder. One of my guitar students got
Oh
me
yeah,
this
well
shirt.
I'm better. I got better than that. Check this out. I have the actually have the album cover for Spinal Tap.
That's not the original cover though. The original cover they decided not to go with.
Yeah, we won't show that.
If you haven't seen Spinal Tap, see it.
You have to.
Okay, so we've talked about music. We talked about the album project. We talked about Tritone and everything. So Avalon School of Music, which you also teach at.
I teach that as
Yes,
well.
he
Yeah.
does.
Over in the you also work. Well, you do mainly at the Allen location. Right?
Yeah, I'm in Allen. So Avalon School of Music has two locations. Their main location is in Wiley. And then the new location, which has only been open since what, March?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
few
recent.
March, I think it is.
Yeah.
And that's in Allen.
And that's growing.
It's
Yeah.
growing,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
it's
really
growing.
is. It
So
really is.
I'm
It's
up
awesome.
there, you know, 4 days out of the week for right now, and I do have some students out of my house too that I
That
had
you've
from
had for
before.
a while, yeah.
I've been teaching guitar for 30
Longer than we've been married.
Right.
since 1988 is when
Oh,
I
cool.
started teaching. Yeah,
Wow.
So it's been a minute.
guitar. Yeah, it's been a while. So
So you
yeah.
were just a kid. Okay, play
I was 19 when I had my first student.
Yeah,
and I
that's
still
awesome.
remember. You know, you remember those highlights in your life. You know,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's a highlight so much, but it's just the first song I ever taught for professionally, like someone was paying me for lessons, and this kid, I say kid, I was a kid too.
Younger kid.
Brought in Metallica's Call of Cthulhu, you know, to learn. It's an instrumental Metallica song off, I think, their first album. And, you know, so I wrote that out. And I was all, you know, yeah.
That's cool.
Here I am. I'm a teacher.
Well,
so,
Still.
yeah, and I still am. So,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. And I think that's been a huge part of my musical journey has been teaching, because you spend a lot of time digging into
Yeah.
music in a detailed way and unpacking it, and it helps you sort of figure out how you want to compose and develop as well. So,
Well, the cool thing about teaching is, like, I don't know about you, but I learn from teaching.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
I come up with new ideas, and
Definitely.
I was like, wow, that was cool. you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just about the Avalon School, you know, we've had some ladies working in the office before Michelle took over. Michelle was actually my sub teacher when I'd go out on tour or do stuff in town that I had to go do. She was a very good drum teacher as far as the kids loved her. I think that got to where the kids loved her more than me. I'm like, your husband's not coming back, is he? Kind of thing. And then, long story short, it got pretty serious about, hey, we're gonna expand some things with the school, and I noticed your wife, because I told them a little bit about her history and how to do like working numbers, and she was real good with the books and stuff. But she started working in the admin office, and she took over. We were about 220 students at the time, maybe less. But within, I think, 5 to 6 months, because of her, we were up to 350 something students. Wow. I may be wrong, but I'm just trying to find a general number.
Yeah.
My point is that she knows how to book and recruit students.
Yeah.
And she doesn't just recruit them. She actually gets to know the parents and knows the students on a personal level. They call it the warm and fuzzy, right? In the marketing industry, right?
Yeah.
Because people just see these ads and like, well, where is this a real? Is this AI? Where's the person? Could I call them on the phone and talk to them? Kind of thing. Yeah. So she not only books what we call the meet and greets or consultations. She gets to know the students, like, hey, what's your interest? How long have you been playing violin? Or what do you like? What's your favorite music? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And really, she just reels in those parents like, we love you. We love you.
Personal, it's that personal touch.
Yeah.
Kind of goes back to what we were talking about before without, you know, the way society is right now, things have changed a lot. And so anywhere I think you can put in that personal touch, have that information, have that connection, is going to make a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm going to put a digital thumb inlay imprint on the record, where if someone like puts their thumb on it, a visual 3D comes up in front of them. Hi, I'm Paul Piper, and I'm James McIntyre, and I'm Mindy. And I'm just kidding.
We don't
hologrammatic projections.
Don't have that technology yet.
Yeah.
It's
hologram?
Coming. It's coming.
Hologram?
Yeah, it is. It is probably. I don't even want to think about
kidding.
what our grandchildren's technology world will be like. Things have changed so much just from the time that I was in high school until right now.
Well, I'm hoping that whatever those changes are, that there's still some ability for people to actually connect on a real level. And I think through music, that's one of the main ways we can sort of preserve that. We need that. That's part of how we're wired. And I think if we just get lost in the digital realm and everyone's sitting at their computers or on their phones, it really diminishes our ability to just naturally interact with each other. So anyway, there's my old person's perspective.
Right, and that's what it's like when I'm teaching drums. I teach two different perspectives: scholastic drumming versus real world drumming. And that's where a lot of my students, especially the younger ones, that you can't really communicate with the younger ones like that too much. It's more about, hey, play this drum, play that drum. Right. What is that? That's a tom, you know. But like some of the older ones who don't have a clue about, and I'm not saying anybody in general, but some of the students don't have a clue about dynamics, how to listen to their fellow musicians when they're on the stage, how to play to what we call play the room. Right. Like I teach how to have the same energy playing loud as playing soft. You can still play soft with proper dynamics, and it still looks like you're producing energy. It goes with not just drums, but guitar and everything.
Absolutely.
So work the room. If you're in a small room, play lighter, right? And blend with the band. I've seen some situations where everybody has to be louder than the other, you know. Yeah. It's the me show, and that causes a problem. So dynamics is very important as far as real world training goes. And then scholastic training, we teach with rhythm theory, what all the notes mean, eighth notes, sixteenths, and so on.
The technicals.
Right. And that's what I like about Avalon is the instructors that we have there teach just that. You know, it's not all about going to a place to learn how to play in a rock band.
Right.
You know, this is about this is about learning the logistics of music and rhythm and putting it all together.
Right. Yeah.
Learning how to read, very
Building
important.
up your musicianship.
Yeah.
The actual fundamentals of music itself, rather
Yeah.
than just like here's how you get on stage and perform, and make sure you put your stank face on or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's music is ultimately it's an auditory art form. It's if it doesn't sound good, like if you have to watch someone in order to kind of get and vibe on what they're doing, something's missing then.
Yeah.
That should come across in the sound of what you're doing. And
Yes.
so when you're just listening, I think that's something that's kind of, lacking in a lot of modern music is just, can you just listen to it and on its own merits, no video, no anything else, just the sound of it, is it kicking in the back of the teeth, or is it just sort of like meh? Back in the day,
There were no music videos.
There weren't music videos really so much, and the music itself had to speak for itself, and it had to, and it had to come across in a recorded medium as well as live. And it's difficult sometimes to capture that energy in the studio, because there's no live audience that's giving any kind of energy feedback or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the trick, right? Is how do you pull that out of yourself in different situations, and that could be in the studio, or it could be at a gig where there's not very many people there, or where there's people there but they're not interested in what you're doing. How do you still
And they're totally
play
ignoring you?
Yeah. How do you still play energetically to the 2 or 3 people that are interested in what you're doing? And that comes from the discipline that you develop in practice and understanding the mechanics of the music and the not just the theory but the technical mechanics of it and stuff, so that you've got something to draw on within yourself to be able to put out there. So
I totally agree. Like sometimes if you're in a band and you play the same song every gig, even though you hate the song, act like you enjoy it. 'Cause they don't know.
Yeah, they don't know.
They don't know unless you make a
So I've played in
stinky face.
yeah, right. I've played in several bands where I wasn't really into necessarily the music, like cover bands and things, where it was like dance music, which I don't necessarily dislike, but you play that stuff over and over and over, and it's really simple, but you're vibing off of the whole experience and playing with the other musicians and the groove, locking into the groove, and the fact that people are enjoying it. You find something about it you can click into, and then you focus on that rather than, man, this is a really boring part, and I'm just bored. And then you're starting to. I played a gig once. I played a gig once. This is a kind of a pickup gig, and it was a drummer I'd never played with before. It was like, all of us could throw together a quick thing. The drummer came in literally 5 minutes before downbeat and started setting up. Now, fortunately, it didn't take him longer. But we did start a little late because he just showed up at the very last second. And the whole gig, he's playing his drums.
Oh,
and
I know which gig you're talking about.
Looking up at the TV up here at the basketball game.
Game.
The entire gig, he's just staring at the TV watching the game.
Didn't
Good
look at
grief.
the other musicians.
That's
Like
right.
no connection to anything, not to the other musicians, not to the songs, not to the audience. And it was like one of the worst gigs.
And it wasn't he wasn't technically he played the right part.
He played the
right?
songs.
He played the songs technically, but there was no connection.
It was a really dull gig. There was nothing really to latch on to in terms of, with him anyways, it was just like, okay, I guess we could have had a drum machine.
And I know, and I have that same problem when hey.
You do not.
When you're bored with what your guests are saying.
No.
Yeah. Oh.
Hey, is there a game on?
Come on, I'm totally kidding. Yeah. Okay, so as we wrap this up, is there anything else y'all want to talk about? as
Maybe
well?
we can play a 15 or 20 seconds of one of the Guitarriero songs.
Okay,
And
that'd be cool.
This is actually the programmed drums, so so it's not complete, but it gives people an idea of what that project is all about. And this will be a song called Catch 22.
Catch 22.
And so it's got some odd meter in it, and that changes, and so.
But you do want to get some real drums on this.
On all of these tunes, yeah.
Well, and here's the deal. Like when I'm writing stuff, I'll do like a quick demo thing. You probably can't see this, but there's a electronic V-drum set up here. And I'll use this for when I'm doing jingles.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's just cleaner, it's simpler.
Yeah.
I use a program called Superior Drummer, which basically is an external audio source for this kit.
Yeah.
Not to put the internal sounds down,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I just love the way that sounds. And if I'm tracking, or if I just finished writing a song, I'll start by tracking a drum track with the V drums or with the electronic kit, just so I could, if I need to send it to a client or something, or a writer or a collaborator, and you've heard some of my stuff with
Yep.
just these on it.
Yep.
And I said, well, I'm going to change that to the real kit.
Right.
Once we
for
get
the actual release or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So this is what I do is not totally different, but it is in that even though I play drum, I don't have anything like that, and in my my space I don't have room for real drums, and I'm not a good enough drummer to play these parts anyway. So the drums you're about to hear, I programmed by hand with a mouse.
Oh, yeah. Better than what I could do.
Every hit with a hi-hat, every snare, all that stuff, it's all one click at a time.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
set the volumes and just try and craft it. So
So this is hours of his life.
yeah. Yeah, to program
Lots of hours.
to program one song, unless it's a really simple part, but this one's not,
No,
as
they're
you'll
not
hear.
simple parts,
This
usually.
was probably 2 or 3 afternoons.
And
of programming.
when you're doing that, Mindy's in the other room looking at her watch, wondering when is it going to come
I'm
out?
usually in the same room.
Yeah, but I've got headphones
Yeah,
on.
he does.
Program, not try not to bother.
You're over at the other computer doing all the marketing stuff.
Right. So this is Catch-22 from the Guitar Hero program, soon to be released with actual real drums played by real drummers.
Yay.
I'm pointing that way because I'm not sure which way this is oriented. I think Paul's
Yeah.
on that side of us.
Yeah, I'm looking at your finger now. Yeah.
Right.
Ow, that hurt. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not even on that screen. Wait, let's do that again.
Wait,
1,
wait,
2,
wait,
3.
3.
Wait. Ow. Wait, now do it. Wait, now do it.
Oh, wrong way. Can we just play the clip?
All right, y'all.
Catch-22.
This is called Catch-22. 22. Here we go. So there you have it. So explain about that song a little bit.
The Catch-22. Well, so the main section's in 5. And for you music theory knuckleheads out there, the melody is built around a Lydian dominant scale.
It's easy. I know that stuff. Yeah.
No one cares. No one cares about that. But then the B section is kind of a tapping thing, and that's in 11/16. And then the solo section's in 6. So 11, and then it happens twice. There's the 22,
Yeah.
and it's a Catch-22.
That's awesome.
That's how the name came up.
That's
'Cause-
like one of the song I showed you, 11/8.
Right. Yeah.
Which I'm going to probably have on the instrumental album.
And instrumentals, you name them whatever you feel like.
Yeah.
But there's
Yeah.
got to be, I don't want to just name them song number 1, song number 2, song
Well,
number 3.
this is called 11/8, but it's spelled different. It's 11-ATE.
See, that would
Right,
fit
see?
right on the Guitar Hero because there's some.
Yeah.
There's some of the songs have
Yeah.
food references.
Well, we're excited about the whole project that's going to be coming out, and again, we're scheduled to be on KNON now on
Tuesday, June 18th.
June 18th.
It's coming up. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
what?
coming up.
A couple
Around
days
the
away,
corner.
or it's maybe tomorrow, depending on when this
Yeah,
podcast
yeah.
is.
Well, it's
It's
coming
soon.
up quick.
So what time does that show air?
It's 2 to 4.
2
2 to
o'clock.
4, but
Yeah, it's called The Mojo Seed by Jackie Don Lowe. He is the actual.
No, it's on their
Every
website.
It's their
Oh,
on-
it's
their
our
online.
online. It's their on. If you tune into the radio station, it's not that.
Yeah, it's the online app.
thing.
It's the online app. So it's KNON. Okay, so you have KNON,
Yes.
and you have KNON Now.
So this is KON now.
KNON Now is the app.
That's hard to say.
KNON Now. KNON Now. KNON Now.
And it will
Sounds
if,
like a food spice.
If it's already
Sprinkle
in the
the KNON
past,
now.
can you go onto the archives and listen to it?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes,
so
you
yeah,
can.
do that if you
Yeah,
missed that.
And it's Spinatron, I think, is the site.
Okay.
Spinatron.
Yeah, and you can go back and rehear it and re-listen, but I think they only keep it on there for 2 weeks.
Oh,
Okay.
So any of you techno wizards out there, if y'all can figure out a way to record it on your computer and keep it forever,
Let us know.
yeah, we know some professionals in the industry that can maybe do that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, that's about it, guys, and thank y'all for joining me on this podcast today.
course.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna come up with some new stuff, and this won't be the last one. We'll do some more stuff. We're gonna promote the instrumental album, and
I've still got it.
what are we talking about? He knows how to get ahead in life. So anyway, let's see.
See, again, I tell you, this is what I deal with.
Oh,
Michelle and I, this is what we deal with.
It's not that bad.
So anyway, thank you all for joining. This is going to be, we're excited about this project coming out soon. Again, it's Moving Time. Y'all heard some clips, and I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, if you have any questions about certain things, the website is PRP Productions. The website is prpproduction.com. Don't put an S on it. And I will be updating some things on there. We're going to be putting our information on there as well about the album. And just feel free to go to the website and take a look around. Again, I'm going to do some updating on it here pretty quick. So feel free to come back. If you see something and you want to see something different, it may be different. What am I saying here?
I think it's a work in progress.
Yes.
Yes,
Is what it.
it's
is
a
what
work
it
in
is.
progress.
But soon to be released into the wild.
Into the wild, as they call it.
Yes.
Right. We'll be moving time with moving wild. Right.
Sure.
I don't know what I'm saying.
This might get done.
It
Thank
will
you.
get- it will
Thank
be
you all
done.
for being here, and thank you all for joining us today. And we had a blast telling you about what's about to happen in the near future. Moving Time Project, time.
Yay.
It's about time continuum and the life parallels that we go through. Yes. Thank you
Yes.
very much.